And now we're going to turn to Dr. Rasul Bagarov. He's the head of the World Health Organization in Samoa, and he'll be talking about volunteerism in the time of health crisis.
Well, thank you very much, Gina, and welcome to everybody. I see friends, colleagues, Simona just spoken, my friend from UN, and our boss here in UN. But so I will just say that all protocols observed and go into the subject. Of course, WHO, by nature of its mandate, involves in the health area, and crisis is unfortunately one of our big mandates. And of course, I will not talk about COVID-19. In fact, Samoa so far has been lucky to avoid any cases of COVID-19. But I will talk about the crisis that happened last year. In fact, 2019, it was the end of the year where there was a big crisis here, unprecedented, and it was dealing with outbreak of measles. I just have one slide which I'd like to share with you. It's actually not a slide. This is just infographics from that time, and it just highlights, how really the different many people, both international and local, came together to respond to the crisis. Again, it's a long story, in fact, but I would just mention that there were 18 international medical teams. It's also volunteers, but they organize volunteers. They come as prepared teams, very much supported by their own governments, but also dedicating themselves to the cause. And you'll see that they're coming. This is just number of flags there. They're coming from as far as Israel and Norway, but also from the neighborhood, for example, from Papua New Guinea and Vanuatu. Also, the teams included representatives from different organizations, just to name a few, for example, Pacific Community and ADRA and Red Cross, but also volunteers, worldwide volunteers, actually a number of doctors who came here as well. And needless to say that, of course, it very much was supported by UN agencies in big way, and you can see them there. More than 550 personnel came to Samoa. And it's not only about international doctors. You can see more than almost 300 nurses, 162 doctors, and other professionals. But importantly, it was also people coming from Samoa itself. Many people will just step in and say, I'm here, I'm available, use me in the way is appropriate. So that sort of mobilization, again, it was unprecedented for the country and to respond to the crisis. So I think if I'm to make maybe 3 lessons out of this, and let me stop the sharing the slide here. I would say that the lesson number 1, that when internationals and locals came together to help getting out of the crisis, it was not to undermine the local systems. It was to support local systems. It was not to replace local systems, but actually give that hand, which was absolutely important to save lives. Second lesson was that international teams work very well with local teams or with local volunteers. And that is another big lesson here, because in some other countries, in some other crises, we've seen a bit of tension between those who are coming outside and those who are locals. Here in Samoa, during this crisis, it was very excellent coordination and communication between different people involved. And perhaps I would say another important lessons out of this was that this response happened during the crisis. Crisis itself brings people together. And I think that's also important, that volunteerism, and Simona has just spoken about different forms of volunteerism. This one happened at the time of the crisis, and we had a tremendous response from everyone. Again, I would like not to take too much time, just allow maybe for panel to answer some questions that might be of interest to everyone. But just as a tribute to this time, to the many people who contributed to this response, I would like to play a short video clip, which is kind of summarizing these all events, as well as many people's participation and volunteerism in it. So if I may ask you to play a video clip. Thank you very much, and over to you, Ginny.
Go ahead. Thank you, Dr. Russell, and thank you for that powerful video. We were just commenting on and reflecting on that time in Samoa, and that video captures it so beautifully and perfectly, and really highlights and showcases how much can be accomplished when people pull together, come together. So thank you for that. All right, and now I think we have another video from volunteers, partner organizations thanking our volunteers.